When I was in the 6th grade, starting junior high school, I really did not like the gym class. And one day, my classmates were leaving the gym, and I decided to follow them. I did not know where they were going. Apparently, I had missed an announcement but I followed them to the band room, where the band director gave us a music test. It was basically a test that measured pitch perception. A few days later, my mother gets a letter in the mail stating that I had passed the test and would I like to join the band. Frankly, I did not know, but it was appealing that the band would be a substitute for gym class, and my mother suggested just try it for a year and see if you like it. You can always quit after the year is over. So I agreed. We went to the band room soon after that for an open house, and all the kids from my class had been invited to join the band, or quite a few of them. A few days later, we went to the band room for an open house of all the kids that had been invited from my class to join the band. It was our opportunity to choose an instrument. Well, I had tried playing piano, guitar, and banjo before, but my hands were really too small for those instruments. So I was really unsure about what to play. And the band director looks at me and says, "Well, you look stout enough to carry a drum, so why don't you do that?" Without having a better idea, I said okay. Fast forward a few months, and in one of our beginning band lessons, I was asked to demonstrate something on the drums, the snare drum. Well, I could not do it, and the band director really let me have it. Plus, my own natural embarrassment was enough to cause me to really start practicing. I did not want to be that embarrassed again, so I practiced every school break, every lunchtime, and before long, I was actually very good at playing the snare drum. I was able to make so much progress that I became the drum section leader in the 9th grade. At one point in 9th grade, the new band director got angry with the entire band for not paying attention to the drum majors. He had also written a fairly tough drum cadence for drumline to learn, and when he got mad at the band that one day, he left the field. In the meantime, the drum majors asked me to play a different drum cadence, one that we knew, in order to help out the larger band in learning an intricate band marching pattern. I complied. But when the band director came back, he laid into me about not using the drum cadence he had written. When he finally let me respond, I tearfully said, "Well, you said to listen to the drum majors, and they asked me to play something else during that section." He was very apologetic, and from that moment on, he never questioned my judgment. During that same 9th grade year, my band director told me that I had surpassed his knowledge of drums. He suggested that I go to competitions. My first competition was at Livingston University. It's now called University of West Alabama. Now, it was not common then for females to play drums, especially snare drum, but this is where I experienced my first ever direct sexist perception issue. First of all, I was very nervous in this tryout. I had never done anything like this, and I was so nervous. I had horrible blisters all inside my mouth, and I was just miserable. For my first ever tryout, I did pretty well. They had 2 bands that you could qualify for, a concert band and a symphony band. The symphony band was considered the better one. I was ranked fairly high in the concert band. But the problem was, there were a couple of male juniors from another high school in Alabama, I think in the Montgomery area, that placed behind me in the rankings, and they were very upset about the fact that I ranked higher, given that I was a female. They gave me grief the entire weekend. The format of this thing was that we tried out on Friday evening, practiced through Saturday, and had a concert on Sunday. And I was in so much pain, I did not fight back with their insulting comments all weekend long. I went to the same Livingston University competition every year of my high school career. However, I had an experience as a sophomore that was very satisfying. My band director would find various tutors for me and tried all kinds of things like videotaping me to help me get better at my skills on drums. When I went back to Livingston, my sophomore year, I had learned that I enjoyed getting the tryout out of the way as early as possible. As I was trying out, my mother was waiting for me. In the room that we were trying out in, you could not see or hear anyone talking, but you could certainly hear the drum as I played it during the tryout. When I came out, I saw that the two guys from the year before were sitting behind my mother. I acknowledged them as I packed up my drum to leave. When we got outside, my mother was bursting with information. She told me that they had not recognized her, and all they could do was talk about, "Wow, he's good. I cannot wait to meet this guy." She said she just had to turn around to see their faces when I walked out of that room. Needless to say, I placed ahead of them again. This time I was ranked second out of all drummers that showed up that weekend, and they placed behind me again. However, this time they became some of my best friends. Starting my sophomore year as well, I tried out for the Alabama All-State Band. My sophomore and junior year, I missed getting out of the regional competition by only a chair or two. I finally made it to the All-State competition at the University of Alabama my senior year. And when you come out of the regional competitions, they usually make a preliminary judgment on which band you will land in, red, white, or blue. Coming out of the regionals, they estimated that I would land in the white band, the middle one. At the final tryout at the University of Alabama, you could move up or down based on how well you did in your tryout. When I arrived at the building at the University of Alabama campus for my tryout, it was the first time that I had ever felt intimidated. Usually in a tryout, I would cause heads to turn. But here, wow, is all I can say. The quality of drummers were extraordinary. I went to my tryout and I did okay until I had to do my sight reading. The drum notation that they placed in front of me was the hardest thing I had ever seen in my life. I mentally decided that I needed to have a poker face on, and I decided that I would just play what I thought was in front of me. I figured it was possible that they were just trying to see how people would react. Based on my tryout, I was positive that there was absolutely no way that I could move up in the rankings. At best, I figured I would drop down into the blue band. But I was trying to console myself on the fact that I was there and I was competing, and, wherever I landed was okay. When we were alerted, finally, after about 6 hours, that the rankings had been posted, we went first to the white building roster. But I looked, and my name was not there. My heart sank. Okay, so I have to live with being demoted. So we went over to the blue band roster building, and my name was not there either. At that point, I was about to cry because I told my mother, "They've thrown me out." All I could remember was how hard that tryout had been. Mom finally convinced me to go look at the red band roster, but I was afraid it would confirm that I had been thrown out. But lo and behold, my name was there, ranked 7th in the state. The only female ahead of me was ranked 4th. I was absolutely and utterly amazed. Now, in the concert, the only part that I played was the triangle, and my mother, she sat in the audience just laughing about it because all she could hear in her head was the Jerry Clower comedy routine about being in the junior high music class and everybody wanted to play the triangle. Eventually, through band, I was able to try out for an European tour through Purdue University, and over the years I've performed in jazz bands, symphonies, rock and roll groups, and gospel choirs. I really have enjoyed it. It's been a lifelong passion of mine to play drums, and whenever I get the opportunity to, I like to perform. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to talking to you on another video. Thank you.